Do you feel like the review process for medical devices is either the same or more or less rigorous than for a traditional, let's say, pharmaceutical, a pill, a liquid, something you would actually ingest? Is it roughly the same safety efficacy requirements?
Well, I'm just going to quote other people on this because I didn't do my whole study on this sector. But what I've been hearing from regulatory specialists is that there is still quite a lot of things that are keeping that traditional process of pharmacological studies. And that is why even non-invasive devices have to go through quite things that doesn't necessarily always make sense, if that makes sense. But the good thing is that the regulators are currently working on adjusting these processes so that it makes things more sensible. So, for example, breakthrough. That is a really great scheme that are out there for the FDA so that it can support the process of the innovation to get into the market. This is not just breakthrough in the US, but there's lots of programs like this where they take under consideration of these innovations to get the devices or medications to the market so that people can actually benefit from them.
When you think about that topic of breakthrough, this is something that I think has vexed a lot of people who have various conditions and they see devices like yours or they see treatments out there that are not available in their country. You always want to make sure you have the safety right. And that often seems to be the biggest barrier is even if something demonstrates efficacy, if their safety profile, they don't feel like it's big enough or strong enough, there's a hesitancy among some regulators to make that available. And I think we saw in the last couple of years with the advent of new treatments for a variety of things, including around the pandemic, the global pandemic, the debate that came up was how long is enough and also how long is too long? At what point do we have enough safety data? For a medical device, do you have a view or an opinion that if you're going to see something on the negative side, you'd likely see it within a certain time frame? Or are you of the belief that you actually do need to give these things potentially years so that we can ensure that nothing comes up further down the road?
That's a great question, I have to say. Do I have an answer? I do not think I have an answer, but I can share what I think it is. I think it always goes back to the risk and the benefit, if that makes sense. So the sectors where it is, for example, if it's a medical device class three, let's say, it is implantable, that I would assume that it is, like we have to operate on them and so on, which means the risk is higher than the devices where you can just, for example, take it off straight away. Then we always want to balance that risk and benefit, which is actually the regulations. Regulations itself does look into how invasive is the device and what is the benefit. And then we constantly try our best to do the right thing, if that makes sense. And also, this is the reason why the primary the reasoning that what we say is the device is used for. So, for example, how is the Q1 device used? Is it used for immediate effectiveness, or is it saying that the claim is so important, if that makes sense? Of is there long-term use? Is it immediate use? Is it while they're using the device and so on? So this is another thing that we're constantly studying, as mentioned, is that our device initially was looking into the immediate effectiveness of the device. So they wear the device, they start the device, and we see the effectiveness. And we were able to see quite a significant improvement for individuals in average so that we were able to get the devices out there. Now, what we're looking into with some of the hospitals is long-term effectiveness. So we currently have a paper that is coming out where we're looking into 4-month benefit, that is sustained benefit of the Q1 device. Now we're going to constantly follow them up. And then once it is cleared into the clinic, then we can go out and say in the claims of this is what we've been seeing. The person who've been using the device the longest, I believe it's about 2 years now. So we are constantly monitoring how long can we benefit the people and constantly monitoring the side effects and very carefully looking into that as well. So once again, it's the risk and benefit that we want to look into and do as much as we can to mitigate those risks and avoid those risks before it happens. So being like, this is the another reason why I am kind of a big advocate of the regulation is also post-market surveillance of looking into once it goes on to people, what is it that we are seeing. So constantly monitoring that trend is very, very important as well.